What you guys are looking at here is a 1977 Bally home professional model pinball machine. It is Elton John's Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. This machine's been in my family for a very long time. My grandpa purchased this for his kids back in '77, so they would stop going down to 7-Eleven and spending all of his quarters. So he bought this machine, which went for about $800 in the Sears catalog at the time. We got it up and running again. It stopped working, we think, about in 1989. It's been sitting ever since. Going to go through everything we did to get it up and running again. When we first started, all we had was the bottom cabinet and play field, the back glass, and the logic board. It did not have any legs. It did not have the back box. That was completely destroyed. But luckily we had the glass and everything else. So yeah, let me go ahead and open it up. We'll take a look inside. We'll start there, talk about everything we did on the inside. Alright, so I got it opened up, got the playfield lifted up here. We'll talk about that in a second. But inside the cabinet here, let's see, we got a speaker and the little amplifier cone it's sitting on. The transformer is back there, and then the power supply on the side here. We had to completely rebuild the power supply. A couple of the voltage regulators were burned up, so we just completely rebuilt the thing with all new parts, so that's all good to go. Checked all the wiring, make sure all the wires were in the appropriate places, and actually some of them that came out of the transformer were flipped, so we switched those back. It's got standard tilt mechanism over here, your flipper buttons, start switch. The bottom of the playfield is pretty cool, actually. In these home models, they attached everything to just one giant circuit board, so it was easy to repair and check things. To check all the switches and stuff, you just could pull the entire board out, check everything, replace what you needed to, put it back in. All the lights are just in twist-in sockets here. Now the flippers are commercial grade flippers. Same thing with the kickers and the pop bumpers. Those are the exact same that you would see on commercial grade machines in the arcades. Now the pop bumpers were in really good shape still. They moved very freely, only had a little bit of dirt in there, so we cleaned those up, didn't have to really take those apart. The kickers stuck quite a bit, but with a little bit of patience we were able to get in there, get those cleaned up, and they actually fire pretty nicely now. The flippers, we were like almost completely seized up. They would like not move at all. So we took those out, completely cleaned off all the dirt and grime that had built up in here through all the pivot points and everything, and they are super strong now. So they work great. The rest of the playfield underneath, all the electronics underneath, were in really good shape. Nothing was really messed with at all. So it was just making sure it was all cleaned and functioning good. Once we got the flippers running good, we were done with that. So that's pretty much everything we did in the bottom. I'll lay the playfield back down and we'll talk about what we did on top. So here's the playfield. like I said, this playfield was actually in really good condition for as much as it was played. There is slight damage around a couple of the inserts around that number 1 there. But otherwise, the playfield as a whole is in really good shape. So we cleaned it up, got all the dirt and gunk off of it, and then used magic eraser very carefully over the entire thing, just to try and get as much of the dirt and grime off as we could that worked its way into some of the creases. And we're very happy with how it turned out. Once we got everything cleaned, we took all the plastics, all the old rubbers off and everything, got it down just close to bare as possible, and we clear coated the entire thing to just protect the paint. Got just a satin clear coat rattle can and just dusted the entire thing. We did like 4 coats just to make sure we could preserve that. We also took the pop bumper caps off and soaked those in hydrogen peroxide just to de-yellow them a little bit, and they turned out really good. We did the same thing with the flippers. We took those apart, and those were really, really yellow. Had a lot of dirt and grime on those too, so we cleaned them off, wiped them off, put them in some hydrogen peroxide, set them out in the sun for a while, and it just whitened those right up. The only other thing we did with the play field was we did change all the lights to LEDs. And the reason why we did that was when we were troubleshooting this thing, when we had all the lights in, when they were incandescents, it would stay on, and then about 30 seconds into it, the circuit breaker for that ran the general illumination lights would trip. And we're like, man, that's weird. And so we did it again, and it kept doing it about 30 seconds with all the lights in it. It would trip, and we looked at it. We pulled the transformer out and took a look, and where there's supposed to be a 3.9 amp circuit breaker, there's a 2.5. So it should have 2 3.9s and 3 2.5s, but it actually had 4 2.5s. And so that was the issue. And you couldn't find the circuit breakers anymore. So we decided to put all LEDs in the machine instead. And that solved our issue. You'll see how it looks when I turn it on later. But that was the one major thing with the general illumination lights that we had to take care of. So yeah, like I said, that was all we had to do for the playfield really to get that up and running. We did also reprint the ratings and the instruction cards, get those nice and new. But yeah, the back box. So like I said, we had the back glass, and the back glass was really in good shape. There was a little bit of damage that we had to fix. I'm not going to point it out to you guys. See if you can try and find it. You'll be able to see it once I put it on the when I open up the back and we look at the inside, you'll see where it is. But the glass, we triple thicked the back side of it so that we could just protect it, keep it from flaking any further. Then that also allowed us to repair the section that we needed to. The back box was completely built from scratch using MDF, and then the yellow that's actually keeping the glass in place, this is 3D printed. And so we tried to replicate the colors on the original. 3D printed yellow to hold the glass in, and then the back of the box is red. So yeah, we think that turned out pretty good. Let me open up the back and we'll show you the inside. Okay, I pulled it away from the wall. I haven't opened it up on the inside yet, but just to show you what the back looks like. Got a piece of pegboard for the back to allow ventilation through. We also have 3D printed cable hooks, because we did replace this cord, cut it back a little ways, and then added a new cord on, just to make sure that was all good. So needed to manage that, so we've 3D printed these as well, and they work fantastic. While I'm back here, there's on off switch, model and serial number for this machine. And then here are the circuit breakers that I was talking about before. And so actually, it is this one here, the second one in. It says it should be a 3.9, but it's actually a 2.5, and that's from factory. So that's why we made the switch to LEDs. Alright, let me open this up and we'll take a look inside. Alrighty, here's the inside of the back box. So, with the back box missing, the general illumination lights for the back glass were actually missing as well. And we really couldn't find anything that told us exactly where they went. So we took it as an opportunity to customize our machine a little bit. We use 3D printed light brackets. I ordered sockets for the new lights. And we kind of pick and chose what we wanted to light up. So we did the Bally symbol, did some of the characters up here in the upper left. We highlighted the name of the machine, the Captain Fantastic with the Brown Dirt Cowboy, and that looks fantastic up there, as well as these characters on the front over here. Like I said before, you can kind of see the place where we had to do a little bit of repair on the glass. But it turns out great, you hardly notice it. Had to put in new connections for the new lights. So we had to replace that, but then everything else, the connections for the logic board, those are all original, all working great, and then with just some cable management around the box as a whole. We also, the volume knob had broken off, so we 3D printed that as well. And then there's the logic board there. Let me pull that out. This was the biggest task of them all, trying to fix this. So let me pull this out and we'll run through everything that we had to do for that. Okay guys, here's the logic board out of the machine. Now we had to do quite a bit of work to this. I'm going to put up a couple before shots and progress shots as we went through everything that we had to do on this board. Now the first thing was a lot of these transistors, quite a few of them had fallen off, especially these 5 down here. I think there was like 3 of them left. So we had to replace those. Another thing was there was actually some IC chips soldered on top of the 2 that were here. Because what had happened, I guess, was the machine had stopped working. It stopped keeping score. And so they thought it was something wrong with the CPU. So they removed that and started trying to reprogram a different chip. Now, this was back in, I think, like I said, 89 was the last time it worked. So 89, 90, they were trying to get this thing back up and running. Unfortunately, were unsuccessful. So we were actually missing this CPU. And luckily, and you can see there's a website on that, there's a gentleman up in Canada that programs these for people who are looking to get these machines back up and running. There's actually a CPU chip, because the issue, I guess, was the socket that this chip was in always made it seem like the chip failed itself. But it might have not been a problem with the chip, it was probably just the holder for the chip. So it's a little hard to see, but we replaced that. We took the old brown one out and we got a black one in there with the new computer chip, and this thing is programmed perfectly. So if you're looking to get your machine up and running and don't have the chip, definitely look into this. I'll put the link down in the description below. But we went through, we removed all the modifications done to this board before and tried to get it back to what it looked like originally. And so when we did that, we were able to go through and figure out which chips were bad and which ones were not. So long story short, we ended up replacing every single chip, which is not a bad thing. And each of these, they're like 50 cents to $1 each, so it's really not that expensive to do. But we put sockets in on each of them and replace each one. This one is a temporary fix because when we ordered this chip, we thought it was normal sized like that. And we were wrong. It's super tiny. So I painstakingly soldered very tiny wires to each of the legs on this one and put them down through. We're going to order a different chip that's this size. We already have a socket for it. So when that comes in, we'll replace that and it'll all look how it's supposed to. But the machine's working with that, so it's a good temporary fix. So we replaced all those chips. We had to resolder a lot of the resistors back into place because in the previous attempts to reprogramming it, there was a lot of like jumper cables and wires coming to a whole bunch of the difference of these resistors because they couldn't tell where some of the traces went or something. And speaking of traces, you've probably seen this. There was actually a gouge through these 4 traces, and you can kind of see the remnants past it, and it kind of went into the capacitor there as well. So these traces were broken. It was cut through with a knife. So I had to use capacitor legs and rerun those and join those back up, which didn't turn out too bad, and it works, so I'm happy with it. And then we replaced these 2 capacitors down here. That's pretty much everything we had to do to it. All the resistors were fine, all the diodes tested good, so we didn't have to do any of that. Like I said, we upgraded to all LEDs, or mostly LEDs. We got a couple incandescents still in there, just for the look. And when I turn it on, you'll see why. But yeah, that's everything we had to do. Take a look at the back of it really quick. But yeah, let me go get this back in the machine and we'll turn it on. Alright, got everything button backed up. Let's go ahead and turn it on and show you the lights. So like I said, we went all LEDs, or majority LEDs, but the play field itself, it's all LEDs, even the pop bumpers. And there's the back glass. Everything lit up. You'll notice what we did actually, so over on this side we did color changing LEDs. You know, it kind of modernized the machine a little bit, give it a little bit of animation so that the pop bumpers aren't the only thing flashing or moving. We really like that. And then the game over light and the light behind these characters down here are incandescents. Oh, hit the flipper. Flippers always have power to them. But we did those incandescents just so that it kind of ties in with the pop bumpers a little bit. And actually it looks a lot better with the lights off. So let me go ahead and flip those off really quick. There's one. There we go. Those characters light up a bit more there. So we like that. The Bally symbol lit up down there. The Captain Fantastic. We really liked how it turned out with the LEDs and everything. Kind of gives a little bit of a modern feel, but keeps the classicness of the machine. It gives it new life. And with the cool white LEDs, it really makes the blue on the plastics pop. Which was unintentional, but really good. We like the look of it. So yeah, let me go ahead set up a couple cameras and we'll get some gameplay on this. Okay guys, got the camera set up here. Let's go ahead and read through the rules. Pinball is always more fun when you know what's going on. 1 to 4 can play. It's 5-ball play. Shooting ball through top rollover lanes A, B, C, and D awards player 25,000. And lights bottom rollovers for extra ball action. So we have A, B, C, and D up through the top. If you get all 4 of those, you get 25,000 points instantly. And then these outer lanes here light up for an extra ball. Hitting targets 1 and 2 awards double bonus. So 1, 2. Hit both of those targets, you unlock double bonus there for your bonus tree. Hitting targets 1, 2, and 3 awards triple bonus. So number 3 is up there in between the pop bumpers. You hit 1, 2, and 3, you get the triple bonus. You collect bonus when ball leaves the play field. Awards extra ball at 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. And tilt disqualifies ball in play from further scoring. Other things about the game to know. A, B, C, and D also advance your bonus. 1, 2, and 3 gives you double advance bonus, so you get 2 every time you hit one of those. Pop bumpers are 100 points. A, B, C, and D are 1,000 points. You got 2 spinners. It's 100 per spin on those. These 50 points here on the side just below 1 and 2 also advance your bonus. The inner lanes give you 500 and advance your bonus as well. I'm not sure if I said it. 1 and 2 are 500 points each, and number 3 is 1,000. But I think that's pretty much everything. Let's go ahead and get a couple games in. Now I am very new to this machine, so hopefully getting better each day, but let's see what we can do. Not off to a good start. Alright, ball 2, let's go. Whoops, misfire. was a horrible first game. Let's go again. Alright, so there you guys go. That's kind of a quick rundown of how we brought this machine back to life. It's going to get a lot more gameplay out of it now. Huge thank you goes out to Ronnie at Joe's Classic Video Games YouTube channel. He has a ton of pinball repair videos, and watching his videos is what gave me the confidence to tackle this project. And I'm so happy that I did. So thank you to him. And if you guys have a pinball machine that you're looking to repair, go check out his YouTube channel. Lots of good stuff over there. Lots of good knowledge. So definitely check him out. But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.